What's up guys, it's Gaz, welcome to the Warframe video. So in my previous video on the patch notes for the first mainline of 2020, I completely forgot to go over the Arcane changes and do a brief discussion on those. So that's what we're going over today. We're going to look at the same dev post we were going over in the previous video, but we will be going entirely over the Arcane changes and nothing else. So I'm going to actually be showing some of the current versions of the Arcanes we have as well right now. Currently the max rank is rank 3. And in the future, with this new update coming out this week on PC, it's going to be having rank 5 as the maximum. So we're going to be going over the changes between rank 3 and rank 5. There's also been some nerfs and specific big buffs on some of these arcanes. So the general gist of it, guys, before we get into the nitty-gritty details, increasing the maximum rank of Warframe and Operator Arcanes to 5, up from 3. So they're upgrading the values for the Operator Arcanes even too. So Virtuous Shadow will probably have higher ranks, giving you more critical chance in your amp. Magus I don't know what they'll do with Magus Lockdown. I'm assuming Magus Lockdown is going to get a gigantic nerf with these changes because they're actually looking at all the Arcanes for once. And I'm also assuming that Magus Lockdown will get nerfed another way with an added cooldown to it, because some of these Arcanes are getting cooldowns added to them, guys. And I could definitely see Magus Lockdown getting a cooldown. So I'm a little bit bummed about that because I use Magus Lockdown like 100 times per mission, I feel like. But, you know, it is extremely, extremely powerful as it is right now. So a cooldown on it, maybe like you just can't have multiple mines on the ground at the same time. That's probably what they'll end up changing. Like you can't put down another Magus Lockdown mine until the previous one explodes. That is not in these patch notes as a speculation because the Operator Arcanes are not in these patch notes. Arcane Revives are a bonus that begins on rank 3, so that makes it sound like we're getting more revives with a maxed out Arcane set, which is definitely unnecessary, but hey, whatever. Adjusting the power of the rank 5 Arcanes. So they adjusted the values of these, so they want to make it seem like you're running it's like 1.5 times as powerful as before. Because you can't run 2 of the same R3 set anymore like you could before. You used to be able to run double Arcane Acceleration if you wanted to, and they could proc independently of each other. Some of them could do that. But basically, that's not a thing anymore. You have to have 2 different Arcane sets if you want to have both sets equipped. So let's go over these guys. So the first one we're going over is Arcane Acceleration. Currently, that is going to give you a 20% chance for 60% fire rate to primary weapons for 6 seconds. This new and improved version at rank 5, 30% chance for 90% fire rate to primary weapons for 9 seconds. I do run this mod sometimes on the Shedu, so basically, 90% fire rate on the Shedu is like a Vile Acceleration with no Vile Acceleration in the build. So this can definitely upgrade your DPS for full auto weapons, even non-full auto weapons like the Tiburon Prime and things like that. This can be relatively useful. And if you don't want to run double tank Arcanes like people are currently, I usually run double Guardian, double Grace Guardian, Energized Grace, Energized Guardian, things of that nature. You might want to consider some DPS Arcanes in the future. Alright, so we're going to move on to the second one, Arcane Aegis. This is the one that got really heavily nerfed. I'm going to just say it right now. Currently on the live build that we have, on damage, 6% chance for plus 60 shields a second for 20 seconds. It is getting mega nerfed to 3% chance for 30% shield regen for 12 seconds. Pretty much just having the values we have, but also requiring us to have to grind out more Arcanes to get to rank 5. Because if you didn't know this, the rank 5 version will require 20 total rank 0s. So if you have 2 rank 3s currently, you should be able to build a rank 5 no problem. Someone was saying 21, you might need 1 more, but we'll see on the day it comes out. Next, Arcane. Arcane Agility. On damaged, 60% chance for plus 60% parkour velocity for 18 seconds. Currently, that one is going to give you 12% chance for 40% parkour velocity for 8 seconds. So just a big buff on that one, because we're going for 12% proc chance to 60% proc chance. So these are the kinds of ones, like the ones that are underused, they're getting these big proc chance buffs or big value buffs. So you will definitely be considering these kinds more often than maybe something like Aegis. By the way, guys, the cheese build with Hildren is probably completely dead after these Aegis changes, because heavily relied on 2 Aegis sets on that cheese Hildren build, so I always thought that should get removed, so they're finally actually removing it, so took them long enough. On to the next one, we got Arcane Arachne, which I actually do like. Currently on the live build, that's going to give you, on wall latch for 2 seconds, 100% damage for 20 seconds. The new build, or the new version, will be on wall latch. You don't need a wall latch for 2 seconds, just a wall latch. 150% damage for 30 seconds. It now has a cooldown, so you can't proc it while it's already active, but that's not a huge deal. So this one's getting a really, really big buff. No more duration on the wall latch, and you're getting 50% more damage and even longer duration. So I'm keeping my eye out on that one. It's still a little bit annoying to use, so probably won't actually become something people are using regularly, but you know, it's a nice little damage buff in there. On to the next one, Arcane Avenger. So this one's getting indirectly nerfed because you cannot double stack these. A lot of people would double stack Avenger. Currently, from 1R3 on the live build, it's 14% chance for 30% critical chance for 8 seconds. The rank 5 version will now give you 21% chance for 45% critical chance for 12 seconds. So that 45% chance is pretty nice. That will get some stuff to over 100% crit chance pretty reliably. And 21% chance on damage for some of the tankier frames that's going to happen a lot. So maybe for Naros, maybe if you don't want to run Guardian for some reason, because Guardian's getting a gigantic nerf. Frames like Trinity, maybe. Lots of characters can make use of this because 21% chance is relatively high. And that extra crit chance is nice. Definitely is nice. Yeah. So moving on to the next one, Arcane Awakening. This one I'm actually really interested in. I do use Arcane Awakening every now and again because I do enjoy getting extra damage on pistols, and that's getting a big buff here. So it's currently 40% chance for 100% damage in 16 seconds, getting buffed to 60% chance for 150% damage for 24 seconds. So for things like, for pistols that reload a lot, like the Zocti, there's definitely some other ones like the Cyanex, maybe even like some crit pistols that reload a lot of the time. Maybe you have negative magazine riven, you're reloading it more than often. This is going to give you huge extra damage for a really long uptime. And notice it doesn't have a cooldown, so you can refresh this one while it's already active, it seems. So Arcane Awakening looking pretty good. Arcane Barrier, remember this is one of those, air quotes, legendary tier arcanes. This is the one that I sometimes use on Hildren to get a full shield restore. Keep in mind, this is a legendary arcane. It costs like 1 million credits to trade it to somebody. Let's see what it does right now. So currently on the live build, 4% chance to instantly restore all shields on damaged. It doesn't say on shield damaged. So the new one's going to be on shield damaged. 6% chance to instantly restore all shields. This will pretty much just get used on Hildren, or if you have some really, really high shield build on maybe Haro or something like that. But yeah, this one definitely did not get buffed as hard as it should be for being a rank 5 of a legendary tier arcane. I believe 8% chance would be much better, or maybe even 10% chance if you're feeling like you want to give us some real power. Yeah, and this one also I double stacked this one before, so yeah, this is not getting buffed enough in my opinion. Arcane Barrier, not really happy about that one. Moving on, Arcane Blade Charger. These are some of those arbitration arcanes where if you get a kill with your melee, you get extra primary damage, you get primary kill, more melee damage, etc., etc. So currently, it's not extremely useful. It's like a 20% proc chance at max rank for 200% melee damage. They're not really fixing the issue in my opinion. We're going from 20% chance to 30% chance for 300% melee damage. That's a lot of melee damage for sure, but 30% chance is very low. I might end up trying this one out just to see like how crazy the damage actually is, but I don't like chances that are that low on proc chances like that, because you can't really rely on it at all. So, it remains to be seen on Blade Charger. I might pick up some of those before the update comes out. Arcane Bodyguard literally is just worthless. On rank 5, 6 melee kills, heal the companion for a great amount. Okay, like, just put on Pack Leader and heal your companion in one hit and not have to kill 6 things. If they ever nerf Pack Leader, you might consider this one, but maybe not even then. So move on past that one. Arcane Consequence. Got a decent buff, I believe. I haven't looked at Consequence in a while. Let's actually look at these values. So, currently 100% chance for 40% parkour velocity for 12 seconds. It's going to stay at 100% chance. You're going to get 60% parkour velocity for 18 seconds. So, any headshot will give you really fast parkour velocity. You can't double stack it anymore, but that's okay. You didn't really need to in the past anyway, so this one's just getting a straight buff. If you got 2 R3s already, you can just turn it into an R5. So, oh yeah, by the way, they're adding breaking down arcanes in this update as well, guys. So you're going to be able to take the arcane that you have R3 and make it 10 R0s. Apparently for no cost. We'll have to actually see what ends up happening there. Moving on, I'm gonna skip over some of these ones that aren't really released. Like this one, Arcane Defense, 100% chance to resist puncture damage effect. That's not out yet. I don't really think that will be useful. I mean, sometimes you get puncture procs for like the Grenier and stuff, but it's not really a big deal. Arcane Deflection, 100% chance to resist slash damage effect. Might be nice. You get slash proc by some of these enemies relatively oftenly, and if it's a high level slash proc, it might mess you up. So that will be nice for maybe Hildren. Oh no, wait, slash procs aren't going to go through shields anymore. Okay, this one's probably not going to be really important. It might be in some really niche situations like a slash sortie, but since Hildren is going to only be bothered by Toxin now, you don't even need this one on Hildren. So speaking of Toxin, this one's going to resist Toxin damage effects. I could have swore we already had an Arcane that did this, but Detoxifier, 102% chance to resist Toxin damage effects. I think we already have one that does that, so that might be a typo on their part. All right, here's a big one, guys. Arcane Energize. Currently, on the live build, you can stack 2 R3s of this, and they can both proc on the same orb, so you could technically, on the live build, pick up 1 energy orb and get 250 energy. So, and that's for your teammates, too. So, that is not going to be a thing anymore. The way they are wording this right here, 60% chance to replenish energy to nearby allies, added duration and cooldown added. Duration and cooldown. So does duration mean that it's going to be like an energy regen effect? We're not getting the entire 100 extra energy immediately? Or is it just cooldown is meant to indicate that we cannot proc it for like 5 seconds or whatever after we proc the first energize? We don't actually have the concrete info on this, but a quick little rundown. It's currently 40% chance to proc on the live build, and it's going up to 60% chance to proc with an added duration and cooldown. So it cannot proc while the cooldown is active. We don't know exactly, but going from 40 to 60, but we can't have 2 R3s is definitely a nerf, because you won't be able to get 250 energy from 1 orb. I'm assuming since it's going to R5, they'll give us 25% more energy per orb, like energized rank ups do currently, so we'd probably get like 175 energy per orb with an R5, but it remains to be seen. I do believe that this one will not be as strong as it is currently. Also keep in mind, if it's going to be a energy restore over time effect, it might be a gigantic nerf to Mesa using her Peacemakers and getting energy while she's in her Peacemakers. Although, I mean, let's be honest, Mesa is completely broken in normal content, so she could probably justify a nerf or two. Even though she's getting a buff, when we get down to Velocity, Mesa's actually getting a huge buff with additional fire rate. Alright, so basically, I'm telling you what I can on Energize. The R5 will have a higher proc chance than 1 R3, but you can't do 2 R3s anymore, so oof. I don't know if the price will go up or down, because keep in mind, the Scarlet Spear event's coming out, and you're going to be able to grind Arcanes from that. If you're able to specifically grind Arcane Energize, I could definitely see that price going down real low compared to what it is right now. Definitely. Alright, Arcane Eruption. This one I'm actually really interested in. I know it sounds really bad and silly, but currently on the live build, it's a 30% chance on an energy orb pickup to do a knockdown in an area around you. They're buffing that to a 100% chance to knock down enemies on energy orb pickup with no cooldown. So every time you pick up an energy orb, that's a guaranteed like knockdown around you. I think that sounds pretty good actually. For things like thrall hunting, for like murmur farming, for liches, you kill the one thrall, you assassinate him, you have the mod that makes them more likely to drop an energy orb. That energy orb drops from that thrall, all the enemies around that thrall are knocked down, you can easily kill them. Might not be super important or useful, but I think it sounds kind of cool. Alright, move on to the Fury. So 60% chance for 180% melee damage for 18 seconds. I did use this one on Korra's Strangledome, or not Strangledome, her Whip Claw. And I'm currently on a Dove build, or on the live build, it's a 40% chance for 120 melee damage. So you're not going to be able to double stack anymore, no 2 R3s. So you'll be definitely losing a little bit of damage, but 1 R3 will definitely get you a lot, or 1 R5 will get you a lot further. 180% chance, 180% damage, and 60% chance to proc. I think I'll definitely be using that in Korra, for sure, in R5. And because that does work on her whip. Also works on Atlas's fists, too. So if you can crit with Atlas somehow, good luck. Arcane Grace, another really popular big one. Getting a similar treatment to Aegis, where it's not going to be able to reproc while active. So 9% chance for 6% health regen for 9 seconds. It's still going to be really good on Anaros, guys. It's going to be worse for sure because it's not going to be able to reproc while it's active. It's currently 6% chance for 4% health regeneration. It's going to be worse. It's definitely going to be worse than it is right now. But if you have 2 R3s, you'll be able to make an R5 at least. We might end up just switching stuff on Anaros, making sure you're always using Magus Repair. Arcane Victory has always been an option for Inaros. You might want to start trying that one out with one R5 Grace, one R5 Victory. But yeah, they nerfed it pretty much. They just nerfed it. They don't say how long the cooldown is right here. I'm guessing it just can't proc while it's active. 9 seconds. Yeah. Moving on to Guardian. Guardian, another one, really popular one. Probably my most popular Arcane I use the most. It's currently on the live build. 20% chance for 600 armor for 20 seconds. Getting mega nerfed to, on rank 5, 15% chance for 600 armor for 30 seconds. I definitely just think they need to buff this. Pretty much unacceptable compared to what it is on dev right now, or on live right now. We can currently double stack them and get 1200 armor, and not to mention that's also doubling our proc chances too. So the R5 is going to have a lower proc chance than the current R3, and we're getting the same amount of armor. So definitely, I would recommend buffing that armor to like 900 and maybe up the proc chance a little bit. If you think the proc chance was too high, maybe keep the proc chance as is, but definitely up that armor, because we're definitely losing out a lot on what we had before, and it just feels bad. Although Arcane Guardian was definitely one of the most versatile arcanes, giving 600 armor to every Warframe in the game pretty reliably. Like, I'd run this on Gauss, I'd run this on Trinity, Nova, Saren, like pretty much everyone I play, I would run either 1 or 2 of Arcane Guardian on them. So in that sense, I understand. They probably have the usage stats just like Rivens and Warframes and all that, and I'm like, well, everyone uses Arcane Guardian on everything, better nerf that one really hard. And they did. So we'll see if on the actual patch day if this gets changed at all, but I'm not holding my breath for it, guys. I might stop using Guardian on a lot of these characters because 15% chance is really low. 600 armor is still pretty high, but I mean, compared to now, it's trash. Arcane Healing on rank 5, so basically just complete radiation status immunity. Good stuff there. Arcane Ice, heat resistance, not really a huge deal. Gas resistance from Arcane Liquid, really not a big deal. Maybe I think Juggernaut's like the only enemies that do gas damage. I believe Nox does Toxin, so that's pretty much useless to me. But they might change some stuff where gas is more relevant. Arcane Momentum, I'm actually happy about this one because it's an already good arcane for like Prime Chamber and stuff, getting buffed. So currently on the live build, 40% chance for 100% reload on sniper rifles for 8 seconds, going up to 60% chance for 150 reload for 12 seconds. So really big reload speed buff on the R5. You'll definitely be able to spam some shots with Prime Chamber there. It'll make your Rubico reload like instantly. It's going to be really nice. And people already double stack these or use these in Eidolon fights. So just a big buff for Eidolon sniper like reload. So good stuff there. Nullifier, another big Eidolon buff right here. So before, if you wanted to have full magnetic immunity to the Eidolon screaming attack, you wanted to actually have 2 arcane nullifiers, but now you'll need 1 R5, and you'll have full magnetic damage immunity from the waves. So good stuff there. Make sure you get an R5. You probably already have 2 R3s or an R2 and an R3, so it will not be hard to get an R5 for this, and you'll be chilling easily in Eidolon fights. So congratulations. Arcane Phantasma on parry, 45% chance for 60% speed for 18 seconds. I mean, what's it on live right now? I don't ever use that one. I don't even know if I have that one ranked up. We'll check. Currently on live, 30% chance for 40% speed. Not a huge buff, but still at least worth considering if you already have it. Arcane Pistoler, this is a arbitration arcane where if you get a headshot kill, it gives you a chance to get basically infinite ammo for 12 seconds. They added a cooldown to it, so you can't just like endlessly fire the Twin Carcados forever. And they also buffed it slightly in, I believe, duration and proc chance. 30% chance currently and 100 ammo efficiency. So it's going up to 60. So basically double in the proc chance. I never use it. I probably will never use it, but cool. I like this one right here. Precision on rank 5 headshot, 100% chance for 300% weapon damage for 18 seconds. But it has a cooldown, so you get a headshot, you get guaranteed 300% weapon damage for 18 seconds, guys. That's really good. I believe this one actually does work on Mesa's Peacemakers too, but you have to get a headshot with a pistol first before activating her Peacemakers. It might have gotten nerfed, but that might be like really good for Mesa to always have 300% extra damage. I'll have to actually check when it comes out. I vaguely remember someone saying that worked, and that actually sounds really juicy if it's for real. But you'd probably want to use Velocity or Energize on Mesa still, unless Energize got mega nerfed in her 4. Arcane Primary Charger, we talked about Blade Charger earlier. It's literally the same thing, but you switch melee for primary. So The proc chance is too low, but I'll still consider it and try it after the update. Arcane Protection unreleased. 100% resistance to corrosive damage. Might be nice. Probably not. Arcane Pulse increased the stats and added cooldowns. So if you pick up a health orb, it heals your teammates. 30% chance to heal nearby allies. I mean, I think some people have probably used that on Nezha or Necros, but I don't ever use that one. And it might become more useful with Grace getting nerfed, but we'll see. Rage, 15% chance for 180 damage to primary weapons on a headshot. 15% chance is very low, but then again, a lot of the primary weapons do fire lots of bullets, so you're going to have lots of chances at 18%. This also has no cooldown, so you can refresh it while it is active. I think that one will be pretty decent, but like I said, low proc chance. This is the other one. Okay, I knew we had a toxin-resisting arcane already. This is just the same thing as Detoxifier. I believe that's a typo on their part. Either way, it's going to be good for Hildren. It might be good for specific missions, like if you're fighting like a toxin sortie or something like that. Arcane Shield, resist impact procs guaranteed. Potentially pretty nice because impact procs do stagger you. Arcane Strike getting a buff. Unfortunately, not a proc chance buff. So Arcane Strike is a melee speed increasing arcane, and currently on the live build, it is a 15% or 10% chance for 40% attack speed for 12 seconds. I mean, it's going up to 15% chance. I'll definitely be using this one because it is a buff. 60% attack speed with no mods on the build. Pretty valuable. Also, it can be reprocced. So I'm looking forward to trying out the R5 for Strike. Because, I mean, if you can take off Berserker on your build, you can take off Fury on your build, that's more damage, that's more one-shots, more reliable one-shots, and that's faster Lich killing. So Strike was already a staple for me, and it will be probably even more of a staple after this change. So keep an eye out on Strike. Arcane Survival is a new one they're making on rank 5. 60% chance for 150 bleed out rate for 60 seconds. Just make it 100%. No reason we should be rolling the dice on something like this that's so useless. Make it 100% chance to have increased bleed out rate for 60 seconds. That's all you need to do. It might be abusable, but I don't think it will be that abusable. Arcane Tanker. So you keep in mind you cannot double stack these anymore, and they are compensating for that by adding more armor onto one R5. So 1800 armor for one proc. And it's got a cooldown, so you can't reactivate it while it's active. So you will be losing, I think, like 600 armor from the double tanker Rhino setup if you are going to be running an R5, but that's just how it is, guys. You can't go back in time and make things not nerfed unless you complain enough. Arcane Temperance on rank 5, 90% damage removed, minus 90% damage taken during revive. I think this sounds cool, but I mean you're usually using Operator to revive anyway, so it's useless, to be honest. But it sounds really cool. Maybe like while you're reviving, like you could like electric proc the enemies too or something like that, just to make this worth considering. Because resing in Warframe is not something that people that actually know what they're doing are normally doing. So yeah. Arcane Tempo on critical hit, 15% chance for 90% fire rate for shotguns for 12 seconds. This has never really been necessary. It's been more of like a for fun thing with like the Arcaplasmor or I mean whatever else you're running. Keep in mind they are going to be doing a bit of a status chance nerf to shotties, so I might end up running some of them for crit, so this might be more useful since I'm going to be mounting a lot of these shotties for crit in the future. But yeah, big buffs there, 9% chance up from a 40% chance, so huge buff there. Ultimatum is going to be getting a big buff as well. On Finisher, 100 plus 1200 armor for 8 seconds. So if you're trying to do some goofy stuff with Rhino with his what is that mod called? Ironclad Charge, I think it's called. Yeah, this might most likely be one of the things you're considering again, because it's gonna give you 1200 armor. You'll be pretty much on the same page, if not more tanky, if you run one tanker, one ultimatum on Rhino for Ironclad Charge. So keep that one in mind. You might want to pick up ultimatum at rank 5 if you haven't already. And by the way, doing a finisher on Rhino, you want to use what's that one called? Exodia Hunt. So, yeah. Okay, here we talk about the velocity change. On rank 5 velocity, on critical hit, 9% chance for 120 fire rate for pistols for 9 seconds. So, Mesa, if you run this on Mesa, Mesa literally has 120% fire rate at all times if you run this. So, it's currently 80% fire rate on the live build. So, yeah, big Mesa buff there. But she might need it because she relied a lot on energize, and that most likely will not work on her the way they're wording it. as well as it does currently. Last two arcanes here before we go over a general synopsis and my predictions for the meta. So, as I said right here, victory on headshot kill, 75% chance for 3% health regeneration for 9 seconds. Might be used in the Naros in place of Guardian, since Guardian's really low proc chance. But you'll definitely still run Grace in the Naros, even though it got nerfed pretty hard. And the last one, Arcane Warmth. Fully resist the cold damage effect. Potentially could be useful against like a guy with a Galaxian, or if there's any new Corpus enemies with Galaxians. Potentially be pretty useful there. Remove the ability to equip two of the same arcanes simultaneously, and the ability to distill arcanes and disassemble them back into multiple unranked ones. Good change there. That has not been there for a while. Adding arcanes as a reward for Operation Scarlet Spear, as I mentioned there. You'll be able to grind out arcanes. Apparently specific ones. We'll see. We'll see if you can grind specific ones or if it will be like random as it currently is. In the official patch notes, we'll learn about the operator arcanes. We don't have those in these patch notes. That kind of makes me think they're getting heavily nerfed. But if they give like an R5 for like Trojan, where you're getting extra damage in your amp overall for running viral, that would be cool. Okay, so some predictions for the meta here, guys. I do think that as long as Energize is not like completely destroyed, people will still be running Energize a lot. But it remains to be seen if it will trigger in an exalted ability like it currently does. So I'm gonna put some chips on saying that Energize will still be really useful. But keep in mind, if it's really not that great, like the duration really sucks, you could just run energy pads instead of using Energize and just put a different arcane in that slot. As weird as that is to say, they might have nerfed Energize hard enough that we don't want to use it anymore. So I think Energize will still be useful. I know that Grace will still be useful in Naros, but for frames like not tanky frames, like I would sometimes use Grace on like Saren and stuff. I might not use it anymore. I might end up switching. Grace for like. Ooh, it's gonna be a rough one. I'm guessing like something along the lines like a damage arcane. I'm most likely to take off. I'm gonna most likely take off Guardian and Grace, and see how that goes for a couple days. Like I'm losing a lot of my tank stats, but if I can just kill everything in one hit, maybe it will be better. Like Precision, I'll most likely be running Precision for guaranteed extra pistol damage, like the Kuva Nucor. You give the Kuva Nucor 3% secondary damage, guys. Wow, that room is dead for sure. So I'm definitely going to be picking up that one. I think that'll be pretty good. And then I'm going to have to find a new tank arcane. I might try out Guardian for a little bit, but I'm definitely having really low expectations on that one's performance. So Avenger might get used a lot more too, because you're going to have 2 slots now. Yeah, as far as tank arcanes, we really got nerfed here. We really did. Guardian was really what was making us strong before, especially when combined with Magus Repair. So it's going to remain to be seen. I'm definitely going to try out our Guardian and Grace on the first day, see how it's feeling. But keep in mind, that's RNG if it's going to be feeling good or not. So hopefully this video was helpful to you guys. I try to be pretty in-depth here. The changes are coming out this week. Oh, I definitely don't want to do Railjack. You kidding me? Changes will be coming this week to these arcanes, and changes to stats chance, all that kind of stuff. So I'll talk to you guys then, which will probably be like Wednesday or Friday is my guess. That's usually when they push out updates. If it's Friday, like it might be kind of buggy. So I'll talk to you guys next time. Please like, share, and subscribe. Nice to see you guys again, of course. And yeah, I'm back to doing videos. So peace.